Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hope you guys are having a good week so far. It's just going to be ugly today, but a lot of rain and stuff. So hopefully it's going okay. We'll see. Um, for today, we're going to be doing the second part of Pythagorean theorem practice. Now, I'm labeling it PTP, Pythagorean theorem practice. It's just a lot shorter than writing Pythagorean theorem practice. So anyway, if you see that, you should have done your PTP number 1, check and reflect already. Now you're watching the video, and we'll do the homework. Your homework will be a worksheet again today. I apologize. Yesterday, I did not post a worksheet quickly. So thank you to those of you who gave me the heads up. I don't always get it, so please let me know. Hopefully everyone was able to get it done with no problem. You will need a calculator again today. Yesterday's video was kind of long. Today's video should go a lot quicker, so you have a little bit more time to work on the homework. Okay, so let's get started here. Now, we're doing the second day of the Pythagorean theorem. Hopefully you can write that and spell it. And hopefully you have your notes from yesterday and you can look at it. The Pythagorean theorem. What is the Pythagorean theorem? It states that on a right triangle, only right triangle, it says that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a and b are the legs, and c is the hypotenuse. By the way, I strongly recommend that you write that down, hypotenuse. Okay, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a and b are the legs and c is a hypotenuse. Again, the legs are the two shorter sides of a triangle. They're always adjacent or touching the right angle. The hypotenuse is always the longest side of the triangle, and it is always opposite the right angle. So yesterday we worked on finding the hypotenuse when you had two legs. Today, as it kind of gives you a hint here, we're finding the leg lengths. Okay, so you look at problem number 1, or this very first problem. We got 10 feet squared, 25 feet squared, question mark feet squared. The biggest temptation with Pythagorean theorem, and the biggest mistake people make, is they look at that and they say, oh, okay, a is 10 and b is 25, and I'm going to do 10 squared plus 25 squared equals c squared, and square root everything, and that's my answer. And that would be wrong. That would be correct if this 25 were down here, but it's not. It's up there. What does that tell me? That tells me that that is actually, what's missing there is actually a leg. And what I have is the hypotenuse. So therefore, when I go to my a squared, plus b squared equals c squared, a is the 10, so 10 squared, plus b, but b is this one, and I don't know it, so I'm just going to leave it as b squared equals 25 squared. Now what I want you to do is I want you to try to solve that. And again, you hopefully have a calculator. We will be using that today, so please get a calculator and use that. 10 squared is 100, and man, my pen is not writing very well. Plus b squared equals 25 squared. Holy cow, that's going to be a big number. 25 squared is 625. Now, the cool thing is with algebra, you guys know what to do next, okay? So I solve for b. How do I do that? I subtract 100 from both sides, and I get that b squared equals 525. And then to get the b alone, I have to do the square root. And so I do square root on this side, and I have to do the square root on that side. So the square root of 525 is, okay, well, I want you to round to the nearest hundredth. Do you remember that? If I have that, what would that be rounded to the nearest hundredth? It'd be 22 and 91 hundredths. So 22 and 91 hundredths feet squared. Cool. All right, that's a correct answer for number 1. So now what I want you to do is I want you to try to solve letter B. So pause the video, do it, and then I'll do it with you in here in just a second. Go. All right, hopefully you finished, and hopefully, and again, guys, listen, if all you're doing is watching the video, it's better than nothing, but it's just slightly above nothing. If you are not practicing these problems on your own, you are really doing yourself a disservice. You are going to need to know this, so please try them. Try them. The worst thing that can happen is you get them wrong, and then actually that's sometimes the best thing that can happen is you get it wrong, and then you can see and be like, oh, I see what you did, okay? So hopefully you tried it. Here we go. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A, I'm going to say, is 16 squared, and it doesn't matter. I could have put it as B. B, I don't know, so I'm going to put B squared equals 20 squared. 16 squared. Oh, I don't remember that one. I haven't memorized. 16 squared is, well, 256 plus B squared equals 20 squared, I know, is 400. 400. So now I finish this off. I subtract 256 from both sides. Sorry, guys, my pen is usually better than this. I don't know what's going on. So B squared equals 400 minus 256. That'd be 144. And then I do the square root on both sides. Oh, I know this one. B is the square root of 144. 12. And don't forget, 12 units. Now, did somebody catch my mistake? I just figured out I did a mistake. Somewhere on this page, there is a mistake. Did you see it? Did you catch it? Did you catch it before I just caught it? I made an honest mistake, but I did it. My mistake, right here. B is not the area. B is the side length. So therefore, it should never be squared. It should just be 22 and 91/100 feet. Cool? All right, how'd you do on those? Did you do okay? All right, let's try a couple others now. Same thing. Find the missing side of each triangle, round the answer to the nearest hundredths. I'm just going to kind of go ahead and do them. Ideally, again, what you do is you pause and you try them, and then we go from there. I'm going to try writing with my pen. It's not writing great today, so it's going to be kind of hard to squeeze things in. So I'm going to do one and then erase it and then do the next one, okay? So for the sake of A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Oh, of course, now it writes beautifully. You know what? I'm going to leave A squared as alone. I'm going to say 10 is the B squared. So 10 squared equals C squared, which is 20 squared. And this should be what you have. Subtract 100. So A squared equals 300. Square root both sides. And the square root of 300 is A equals, demo to right, 17 and 32/100 meters. That is the answer to the first problem. Is that what you got? Look at it. Pause the video if you need to analyze it and compare it to your work, okay? All right, we're moving on to B now. So I'm going to erase that. I'm going to start with B. Again, you can have two options. You can either do B now on your own and then unpause it and then check, or try to beat me. But I don't think you can beat me. You want to try? Ready, set, well, pause if you want to. If you want to beat me, try to race me. Ready, set, go. I do expect to see everything, so A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A squared is 7 6/10 squared, squared plus, oh, you guys are getting lucky. My pen is not working again. So 7 6 squared, 7 6/10 squared is 57 76/100 plus B squared equals 9 5/10 squared gives me 90 25/100. But boy, my writing is getting ugly now. Then I subtract 57 76/100. So 90 25/100 minus 57 76/100 gives me B squared equals 32 49/100. Then I square root both sides. And the square root of that is B equals 5 7/10 centimeters. Did you beat me? I don't know. I don't know if you were erasing me or not, but that should be the answer. And if you did it on your own, hopefully you got it right. Cool. All right, we got one more here to try. And again, I want you to try this on your own. If you get it wrong, that's fine. I appreciate you trying it, okay? So the last one, and again, if you want to race me, you can try to race me. I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. You should be getting sick of that. I'm going to leave A alone. A squared plus 7 squared equals 30 squared. Man, my pen's getting really bad. All right. Next, then, A squared plus 7 squared is 49 equals 30 squared. Ooh, 30 squared, is it 900? Yeah, 30 squared is 900. And then I subtract 49 from both sides. I get A squared equals 900 minus 49 would be 851. Square root of 851. A equals 29 and 17 hundredths millimeters. Right there. Whoop. Got it? Oh, circle your answer. Again, did you beat me? I don't know. All right. Okay. Hopefully you did okay on those. All right. If not, please go back and check, compare your work, and see what you did wrong. Last set. We did these yesterday. So what if they tell us don't draw a triangle, just give us the information, say a leg and a hypotenuse. It's the same thing. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to do the first one with you. Do it with me, and then after that, try B and C, or the last two on your own. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A is 8, so 8 squared plus B squared equals 15 squared. And this is where I told you memorizing those square numbers saves a whole bunch of work. 8 squared is 64 plus B squared. Do you remember 15 squared? 15 squared is 225. Subtract 64 from both sides. Do you notice how we do the exact same process? It just gets really cool once you get comfortable with it. 225 minus 64 is 161. Then I do the square root on both sides. And the square root of 161 is, what would the answer be then? 12 and 69 hundredths centimeters. Don't forget the centimeters. Cool? All right, so that's the first one. So if you need to look at it carefully, if you need to write these down, please be writing these down. Write these down. Give me some examples. Have them on your paper so you can do them on your own. If you need to, pause the video so you can copy this. And then pause the video and try B and C. Cool? When you unpause it, I'm just going to do the work on the board. And you can compare your answers. Here we go. B. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A is 18. 18 squared plus B squared equals 30 squared. 18. Oh, I don't have 18 squared memorized. 18 squared, 324. Plus B squared equals 30 squared is 900. And 900 minus 324. Oh, sorry. Minus 324. And again, guys, I'm just repeating the exact same steps I'm doing every single time. 576, square root both sides, that cancels it out. You're left with the square root of 576. Ooh, cool, which is 24 meters. Nice and easy there. Is that what you got? Cool. One last one to go. You got this, okay? Do it on your own. Do it on your own, okay? And then check it, okay? Here we go. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. You should be so sick of hearing this right now because you have been doing this on your own, and all I'm doing here is saying what you already have written on your paper, right? 3 and 4 tenths squared plus B squared equals 10 and 6 tenths squared. 3 and 4 tenths squared. Ooh, aren't those going to be fun numbers here? Would be 11 and 56 hundredths. Don't get scared by the decimals, guys. It's the exact same steps. 10 and 6/10 squared is 112 and 3600. Now, if I were having you do this by hand, that would be a pain in the butt, wouldn't it? So I subtract 11 and 5600. Subtract 11 and 5600. B squared equals 112 and 3600 minus 11 and 5600 is 108 tenths. Square root both sides, and the square root of 108 tenths is, ooh, that's interesting, almost, ooh, there we go, really close to 10. In fact, when I round it, here's the thing, do be careful here, because is it really 10? No, so I can put the squiggly line and put 10, because that's what the nearest it would round to, okay? Oh, I almost made a mistake. Inches. All right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you did okay. Be careful whenever you're finding this Pythagorean theorem. Two things must be true, or two things you got to verify. Number one, make sure it's a right triangle. Make sure it's got that little square on the corner. Just because it looks like it doesn't mean it's a right triangle. Second thing, check what side's missing. Is it a leg or is it a hypotenuse? The biggest mistake people make is confusing and saying the hypotenuse is a leg or the leg is a hypotenuse, one way or the other. So please be careful with that. All right. Your homework is a worksheet. Good luck. Have a good day. I will see you tomorrow.